Our approach was to make Facilier a very handsome guy. We wanted you to be drawn in by his looks, and that would allow him to sort of plant the schemes and be as evil as he wanted to be. I didn't look in the mirror either, and I didn't pull from the Jonas Brothers file. I simply watch a lot of Soul Train. Actually, you know, what I did was I sort of went through the annals of Disney and realized, like, you know, the great Disney films are always made up of great classic villains. So I simply said to myself, I was like, well, what are some of your favorite villains? And I thought, you know, well, Captain Hook is a great villain. I mean, it's something I really, you know, aspire to. Every time I pick up a pencil to animate a character, I always think about Captain Hook. And one of my other favorite characters also sort of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. And I always thought, like, you know, well, thought to myself, with guys like, well, what would happen if Captain Hook and Cruella de Vil actually got together?
Rated G. I've seen internet stories concerning that.
Well, I figured if they hooked up, you know, they would sort of, you know, what I would sort of imagine, they would sort of create a Dr Facilier. So, hey, well, look, you gotta come from somewhere, right? So I sort of use that as kind of a jumping off point, and also sort of like, you know, took elements of characters that I sort of like. You know, it's like actors that I kind of like. I like Jim Carrey. I like the elasticity of Jim Carrey. I love sort of the great acting of like Jack Lemmon, and I sort of tried to bounce a lot of what they sort of brought to the screen to a character called Dr. Facilier. And as I began to sort of draw him out, you know, I realized that he had to be very, very thin. You know, I had to be able to move him around across the screen. So I thought a lot about, you know, guys like Usher and Michael Jackson, and you know, what would, you know, the type of moves they would have, you know, as they would sort of skirt across the screen. So all those sort of things I kind of took into consideration in terms of really trying to craft a classic Disney character. And I think as you watch the film, hopefully you'll think about those things that I said. Okay, that's sort of like a cross between Captain Hook and Cruella de Vil. It's sort of like the roughest version, but like in the film, you know, when he sort of introduced his mama for the first time. Hopefully you'll see the resemblance, and hopefully you'll enjoy the performance. Thank you.